Alright, so we recently had a chance to play Chapter 1, Session 1 of the story that I'm calling the Apotheosis Stone. It is an 18th level Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition story that takes place 6 months before the events of the Tomb of Annihilation. The campaign is beginning at 18th level and is going to progress to at least 20th level, if not beyond. So the playing characters were contacted by the Triceratops Society, and were asked by a powerful wizard named Cindra Sylvain to travel to Chult to help her in mounting an expedition to a mysterious floating citadel that appeared off the coast of the dark continent of Chult recently. They believe that it is a legendary warehouse of the gods that is called Castle Atticos. And they believe that there may be some artifacts within the castle that may be able to help with the mysterious death curse that is spreading throughout Chult. So the playing characters have their passage paid for on a ship called the Lucille, and they also have the room and board paid for at an inn called the Thundering Lizard in Port Nyanzaru. So the playing characters board the Lucille. The trip is uneventful, except for about halfway they rendezvous with their sister ship, the Zhang He. The Zhang He is piloted by one of their former crew members, who is a Minotaur, and they have a discussion about what's been going on. They talk about some trade and some missions that they may be going on. They move some crates back and forth, and specifically a passenger who is on the Zhang He, who recently disembarked from Chult. He gets off of the Zhang He and gets back onto the Lucille in order to travel back to Chult, which is kind of a strange decision. The Minotaur captain says that about a day out of Chult, the man asked if he could possibly make his way back to Chult, because he had heard that they were rendezvousing with a sister ship that was on their way back to Chult. So this was kind of a strange thing, that he would leave Chult and then a few days later want to go back. So the playing characters are made aware of that. The character's name, the name of the non-playing character who traded ships is named Xerxes. So they paid a little bit of attention to Xerxes to see what his deal was, but Xerxes is a non-social kind of guy. He gives one-word answers. He doesn't want to hang out with people. He spends most of his time in his cabin, and when he does gather to eat with the crew members and the other passengers, he devours his food quickly, says very little, and then returns to his cabin. So of course he is kind of mysterious and aloof and not very friendly. So the Lucille continues on and arrives in Port Nyanzaru. The playing characters get a chance to explore the city a little bit. They go to the harbor masters, where they were instructed that they should go to get letters of credit to stay at the Thundering Lizard. They meet the harbor master and a couple of dock workers, and they also meet a gold half-dragon named Zindar. It's pretty apparent right away that Zindar isn't very well liked by the dock workers, and the playing characters find that he is not only muscle for the harbor master to keep the dock workers in line and to keep order for the harbor master with visitors and so forth, especially with Zindar's story. So Zindar escorts them to the Thundering Lizard and drops them off outside and explains that all they have to do is go in and show the letters of credit that are from the Triceratops society, and their room and board will be taken care of. They won't have to worry about paying for anything. And then they are instructed that when they are ready to, they can meet with Syndra Sylvain, although she is ill and will not be able to meet with them until at least tomorrow morning because she's not feeling well. So they're given directions, and they're told at essentially 7 a.m. they would be able to meet with Syndra. They can show up, and a butler essentially will escort them into where they need to go in Syndra's house. So they get ready to head into the inn, and they happen to look back, and they see that two men in heavy purple hooded cloaks have jumped out and are preparing to attack Zindar. Of course, this is odd because the intense heat of Chult would not lend itself to someone wearing heavy cloaks. So not only is it suspicious that they would be wearing this heavy clothing, but of course they're jumping out to attack an associate of theirs. So Arland, of course, reacts quickly, and he throws his javelin of lightning, which pierces through one of the cloaked men's chest and kills him. And the others rush forward. There's some combat, and they manage to capture the other hooded man, who they then take into the alley, and they discover that he is a pirate who is upset and has been sent by his captain to kill Zindar, because Zindar recently put a bounty out on his captain's head. So Zindar thanks the playing characters for their help, and takes the pirate into custody, and says that there's an award of 50 silver pieces that would be awarded to them for the capture. The playing characters say not to worry about it, to take the silver pieces and have them given to the poor. So Zindar is impressed by that. He takes the pirate off to be taken to prison and to the constables. And the playing characters then retire to the Thundering Lizard Inn. They meet the barkeep. They meet a couple of the children that are servants there, and they're escorted to their rooms, which are surprisingly better than it seemed like they would be expected to be, because the Thundering Lizard Inn appears to be kind of a ramshackle old tavern that they wouldn't expect to have fancy rooms, but it turns out that each of their rooms, which they each have private rooms, are actually very nice on the inside, and also include samples of all the native fare, tige, different kinds of food, different kinds of drink, but mainly the tige, the fermented honey drink. So the characters spend some time. They are told that they will be having dinner brought to them by the servant girl Lindsay. Lindsay, on her way up, questions them, excited that she understands that they're from Waterdeep. So apparently there's been some discussion of where they're from and what they're doing in town. Lindsay wants to know about Elminster and about Waterdeep, and she's very curious about these things. So this not only tells the playing characters that there's been some discussion about them in the tavern, especially with the tavern owners, but that they know that they're at least from Waterdeep, and that Lindsay is very curious about magic and about Elminster. So that's where I'll end the video for right now, because I want to keep them